Banning Lewis Ranch looks perfect on Zillow. We have the new homes, the parks, the pools. But for Fort Carson families, this could mean like a 30 to 45-minute commute and payments that might eat up most of your BAH. I'm Christy Terrell with Pink Realty, and I'm going to walk you through some real numbers to show you exactly who Banning Lewis is going to work perfectly for and maybe who should skip this on their next PCS. Banning Lewis Ranch sits on the northeast side of Colorado Springs, so think like east of Powers. It's a large master plan community made up of multiple metro districts and HOAs, all under that like general Banning Lewis umbrella. Because it's tucked into that northeast corner, you get two big perks. First, you're right on the edge of that current city limit, so you're not having to deal with much of the inner city traffic. Second, as Colorado Springs continues to grow eastward, more shopping, restaurants, and amenities will continue to pop up around Banning Lewis, which makes this area feel more and more like a prime spot for a long-term commitment. Let's talk commuting from Banning Lewis Ranch to Fort Carson. From most parts of the neighborhood, you're looking at about 35 minutes in ideal conditions to get to Post, usually heading south on Powers, which is one of the busiest corridors in Colorado Springs, then across to the gates. With morning traffic, school drop-offs, and gate backup, I'd realistically plan for 30 to 45 minutes from door to gate, especially during winter weather or if there's any sort of construction. Compared to closer areas like the Stratmore or Security Whitefield, where you might be like 10 to 20 minutes from the gate, you're trading extra time in the car for that newer master planned feel for your family. For this breakdown, I'm going to be using E5s with dependents as my baseline, so that's going to sit right around $2,358 a month. In Banning Lewis Ranch, that number is going to start to feel really tight pretty quickly, especially if you're looking at buying. Renting is usually more doable, but you're still paying a premium for like newer construction and amenities. And remember, your BAH is either building someone else's wealth or your own. So I'll walk you through when it makes sense to stretch for a home here and when Banning Lewis Ranch just might be like a maybe later kind of neighborhood. If you're looking to rent in Banning Lewis Ranch, it's mostly newer single family homes, townhomes, and luxury style apartments. For house rentals, this is going to be your typical range. Smaller townhomes and paired homes often start in the low to mid 2000s, while larger 4-bedroom single-family rentals commonly land in the mid to high 2000s. Although the rentals here are more expensive than the typical rentals around Colorado Springs, you are paying for those newer finishes, the open concept layouts, and just the modern finishes, and access to the neighborhood amenities like the pool, the clubhouse, and the trails, which is sometimes included in your rent. Now let's talk trade-offs. You're likely using most, if not all, of your E5 BAH for rent, and then you still fall under HOA rules, so that's going to impact parking and yard upkeep. If you're thinking about buying in Banning Lewis Ranch, let's look at some real numbers. Most homes here are going to land in the high 400,000s to low 500,000s, and new builds can go even higher just depending on what the upgrades are. With a VA loan and zero down, a home around $490K can easily put your monthly payments in the mid 2000s or higher once you factor in taxes, insurance, metro districts, and HOA dues. For a lot of E5s and below, especially on a single income, that payment is going to feel really tight. Dual military or dual income households usually have more breathing room and can make those numbers work a lot more comfortably. One of the big perks of buying new construction out here is the builder incentives. You'll sometimes see limited time low interest rates or extras like payment relief or included appliances that can help soften those upfront costs. But here's the part a lot of buyers miss. Because Banning Lewis is a master plan community inside a metro district, your property taxes are higher than older areas like Security Whitefield or Stratmore. On top of your regular property taxes, you're paying the extra metro mill levy that can add a couple $100s on top of your monthly payment. When you're checking if this fits inside your BAH, you can't just look at the home price. Make sure to include those metro taxes to be sure it fits within your budget. Banning Lewis Ranch can absolutely be a solid long-term play if you plan to stay in Colorado Springs for a while, or if you think you might come back after retirement. But if you're only going to be here for 2 to 3 years, you really want to look closely at your exit plan and how much risk you're taking on with that higher payment and tax load. Banning Lewis Ranch can absolutely be a solid long-term play if you plan to stay in Colorado Springs for a while, or maybe if you're coming back after you retire. If you're going to be here only like 2 to 3 years, you really want to look closely at your exit plan and just how much risk you're willing to take on with that higher payment and that tax load. HOAs are basically a given in this area. On the plus side, those HOAs help pay for like the resort style amenities, like the large clubhouse, the pools, sports courts, and those mile-long trails. They also fund community events like food truck nights, movie nights, and holiday festivals, which give the neighborhood more of like a small town connected kind of feel. In some sections, the HOAs even cover front yard landscaping, snow removal, making it a low maintenance option. On the flip side, the HOA is very involved, so even small exterior changes usually require approval and can take some time. Depending on the section, short-term rentals may also be restricted, which matters if you're considering it as an investment. Overall, though, those strict standards do help protect property value, which can be a plus when it comes time to resell. Banning Lewis Ranch is in District 49, which is very popular with a lot of military families. One of the biggest perks for parents who live here is Banning Lewis Ranch Academy. It's a highly rated charter school and consistently ranks among the top options in Colorado Springs. Because it's located right inside the neighborhood, it's often super easy for kids to walk or bike to school, which a lot of families really love. But there is a catch. Living in the neighborhood doesn't guarantee you a spot. Admission is handled through a lottery system. The school of choice window usually opens in November and then closes in February that following year. If you're PCSing mid-year or miss that window, your kids might be on a wait list, so you'll want to have the backup plan for other D49 schools in the area. Even though Banning Lewis Ranch Academy has a great reputation, I always recommend that parents do a little bit of digging. Check the official D49 websites and any sort of third-party school rating sites just to make sure this is actually going to be a good fit for your kid. But overall, though, if you're looking to enroll your kid in one of Colorado Springs' top charter schools and you just want that neighborhood school feel, Banning Lewis Ranch Academy is going to be a very strong option. Let's look at what the day-to-day life kind of feels like in Banning Lewis Ranch. Just outside the community, you're a short drive from Powers Corridor, and that's a huge lifestyle perk. Powers is where you'll do most of your day-to-day living. You've got multiple grocery store options, big box store shoppings, gyms, medical offices, coffee shops, pretty much anything you can think of. Living this close to Powers means most of your errands, appointments, and entertainment are all going to be within a 10 to 15 minute drive of your house, so you really don't have to worry about those long commutes. So who is a good fit for Banning Lewis Ranch? If you're the type who values new construction, community events, and amenities over a short drive, Banning Lewis Ranch can be a great fit. If you're more budget sensitive or really want your privacy and just a quick commute, you might want to look at other places like Fountain, Lorson Ranch, or Security Whitefield. Banning Lewis Ranch can be an amazing fit for Fort Carson families, but it's absolutely not the best choice for everyone. If you want help figuring out whether Banning Lewis Ranch really works with your rank, your BAH, or your family's timelines, I offer free consultations for Fort Carson families. If you'd like a current list of homes in Banning Lewis Ranch that line up with your price range and your BAH, just text Banning Lewis Ranch to 719-888-4771 and I'll send you what's available right now. And if this was helpful, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping more Fort Carson neighborhood deep dives plus real BAH and commute time breakdowns so you can make a smart decision before ever setting foot in Colorado. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.